Hey there! Today we're going to be talking about an ink that was sent to us by Joost Appelboom from Appelboom Pennen. And that ink is Montblanc Leonardo Red Chalk. I have a fascination with Leonardo da Vinci. I think he's an absolutely fantastic artist, but also the way he drew, the way he thought is very, very fascinating. And many people, there are some people who think that if he would have taken an intelligence test, an IQ test, in this day and age, his IQ would have been about 200, which is more than 6 standard deviations above the mean. So that's really, really impressive. And I think he's a great guy. Now, a good book is worth its weight in gold. This is one of my favorite books, Leonardo da Vinci. It's a lot of book, and this is great. It has all of his paintings and a lot of his drawings, not all of them because there were hundreds of, if not thousands of them. But I mean, this, bloody hell, this is heavy. Oh, this kind of stuff is just really, really interesting to look at. I love leafing through this. And on the back of the book is a really nice quote by Dmitry S. Merezhkovsky, who said, "He was like a man who awoke too early in the dark while everyone else was still sleeping." I think that's a very, very nice way to characterize Leonardo. Alright, now, Leonardo drew a lot, and a lot of his drawings were done in an interesting red chalk color. Then you get something like this. This is most likely a self-portrait of the good man when he was an elderly fellow, and it's that type of color that you see in this ink. So it's a very interesting ink. It comes in that nice limited edition bottle that Montblanc does. I think it's a pretty cool bottle, nice and deep. You can definitely get your nib in all the way, etc. So very, very cool. I think I've done more than enough talking. I think we need to see this ink in action. That's what we're going to do next. I hope that's going to be useful, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Okay, sweethearts, what we got us here is Montblanc Leonardo. And as you know, Leonardo wrote from right to left and he mirrored his letters. Now, to make this just a little bit more easy to comprehend, I'm not going to mirror anything. Nor can I really do cursive like this. Leonardo was left-handed. He had a lot of problems with smearing ink as he wrote, so he just developed this nice writing style where he reversed every letter and wrote from right to left. In honor of the great mind that was Leonardo, and at the cost of making my already odd handwriting completely illegible, I thought we should try to incorporate at least a little bit of that here. Oops, see how automatic it... There we go, medium. Very good flow so far, no issues whatsoever with flow. Broad, and then we go to italic. And then finally flex, and that's going to be a real joy to do that from right to left. What is it with this pen that it makes such a strange startup color every time? Good flow. A little bit too well there. I'll leave it at that for now. Okay, then I think it's time for a couple of passes. Come back to that in a second. We have to write some serious lettering. L for Leonardo. And we should add a little bit of an embellishment there. Also, we should do a little bit of normal writing with a medium nib. And while all of that is dry yet, oh, that dries pretty quickly. And there we go. And then I think we can engage in... Dropped the cap of the bottle there, sorry. We can engage in that one moment you've all been waiting for, the Tardif test. There we go. And, of course, the brown benchmark. Oh, bloody hell. It's everywhere. Alright, and then I think we can start with Il Brusio del Bastardo. I don't know whether that's really Italian. I think Bastardo is for some odd reason. Okay. Let me just dip my finger in there to get some of the ink off. Okay. So what we see here is a nicely shaded brown ink, and I have to say I really like this color. I think it's a very nice shade of brown. I love brown. That's probably for a reason. I do see that the writing is pretty much gone there. Let's do the eyedropper of death. See how well that keeps up. This is not yet dry, but I think we can start working on the scorecard. How about that? First of all, we have cleaning. Cleaning is not really an issue. I've had no problems with it. Bleed through we have to assess later, after we've done copy of paper. Color, well, it's they call it red chalk, huh? I'm gonna call it brown. Shading, I would say, is good. Definitely not superb as in Apache Sunset, but definitely not bad. Flow, I find very good, full marks. Feathering, that's something we have to assess later. We got drying time. Waterproofness. Drying time is something in the middle, and waterproofness, I'm not too sure. This is not the best cloth because it's already stained with other inks, but as you can see here, this writing is pretty much entirely gone, and as is that. So waterproofness, I'm going to give that the lowest score. Alright, let's do some other paper. Fine. Could I also do this in cursive? Oh, that's very strange. Oh, I love it. Oh yeah, that's completely legible. Lovely. Over, etc. I don't understand why this pen gives this weird discoloration. I clean them excessively well after each use because the Inkcyclopedia pen, so very odd. A quick brown fox jumps over. A little bit of italic writing. And then a bit of flexi writing. And I see a little bit of feathering going on. Alright. What shall we make of this? Vinci. And now I have to admit I was challenged into doing something like this. Let's try to make a portrait of myself. Da Vinci style, huh? I think that's not too bad at all. Well, it is. But that's hardly the point. Let's interpret a couple of things here. First of all, I start to see... Let me see, give me a tardive pointing device. I see a little bit of feathering right there. Let me zoom in a bit so that you can hopefully see it a bit better. See that? I see some feathering right there. I definitely see feathering in this flexy writing. And once you get really flexy, this stuff feathers like crazy, as you can see here. A lot of feathering in this super fat writing, and that's not always the case, so I think on this paper it's definitely a feathery ink. Then again, for this drawing with a really broad nib, it's not terrible at all. So I'm not extremely disappointed, but this is probably not an ink you want to use in a very wet pen on very cheap paper. As the bleed through, as expected, a lot of bleed through for this fat writing, a lot of bleed through for the flex, for the broad, and there's quite some, so definitely bleed through going on. Now if we return to our Rhodia paper, bleed through for the brown benchmark. But apart from that, there's not really a whole lot of bleed through apart from all these passes, etc. For the regular writing, not really any bleed through, nor is there really any feathering going on there. So that's good, I would say. That means that bleed through, I'm going to give that, well, it's not terrible, but it's not great either. Feathering, same thing. Total inkage, 1, 3, 5, 6, 8, 10, 13. Okay, comparison ink. I have thought about it. I have discussed it with an ink expert, and she said you should use Carlo Collodi, also by Montblanc, as a comparison ink. Now the problem is, someone sent me a sample of it once. I couldn't really find it. That's strange because I keep all my samples in the same spot. Maybe I've used it up completely. That is entirely possible. The thing is, Carlo Collodi was another limited edition Montblanc ink. My problem with that is that if I show you what that's like and you want to get this but you think this is too expensive, then you have to go looking for another expensive limited edition ink which is probably no longer available. So I thought of an alternative, and what I came up with was something that doesn't write. Here we go. Was diamine ancient copper, which I'm sure you'll agree definitely has a thing or two in common with Leonardo. The Leonardo ink is a little bit more orangey, I would say, whereas ancient copper is indeed a bit more copper-like, a bit darker, but both have that nice shading, etc. Both ancient copper and Carlo Collodi have their own Inkcyclopedia entries. So if you're interested in those inks, go to fbgeeks.com, check the index of the encyclopedias, you can find them, so you can see them in a bit more detail to see if it's something you would like to purchase. And you know what? That's all there's to it. So, thanks again to Appelboom for supplying us with these inks, very cool. Encyclopedia entry for Montblanc Leonardo. I hope this was useful, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.